it's time for a special edition of the Tucker and Kyle Sideshow. Tucker and I, we've been wanting to create an outlet to be able to do interviews with celebrities and other names that don't necessarily own companies, but we do have a personal branding interview today. Big deal, especially in the local area and local market. About ready to blow up nationally, I just know it. And Tucker, I'll let you make the introductions, bud.
Man, this is Shane Fichter. Pro debut was, what, 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, I think it was 3 months ago.
Yeah, man, and you just dominated. It was incredible. I was there, and, man, I'm telling you, it was, what, 10 seconds?
Yeah, I think it was actually 52 seconds.
52. And he came out, he got knocked in the chest, on his back,
I saw that.
got up, and closed the
It was
deal,
crazy.
man.
I know. I remember watching the whole thing, too, on Facebook. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I was actually thinking I was going to have to, like, throw hands with him, and then he kicked me, you know, and I was going to, like, the funny thing is that when I talked to him after the fact, he's like, yeah, I was looking at you, and I could just tell you were going to rush me. So he threw that kick, you know, and it caught me off guard. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take him to the ground and end this. So picked him up, slammed him.
And also, we can't forget about Will Grundhauser, great gym owner here in town. So you've been an entrepreneur for a long time, correct?
Yeah, I've been training all the fighters in the area for about 13, 14 years now. So I've had a hand in most anyone that's came out of Billings.
You got a big name in Billings. I mean, you have really built the brand. Like,
it's funny, before you got here to the studio, I was talking to Will a little bit about that, and you even said that, we're a household name now, but man, it took some work, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a first ever to this area concept, pretty much.
Yep, no one's tried to, build something in our industry. It's usually you need a major demographic, lots of people to pull from in LA, Denver, and New York, something like that to build a real program.
Right.
We go head to head with, Jackson Wink John, like all the top schools. We actually have winning records against like all the best UFC schools in the country. And we're just a tiny little place. There's 1 million people in our whole state, and we're still able to find, good athletes. And it just kind of speaks about the level of our training and coaching, and especially our jiu-jitsu, absolutely world class. We have, that's
best in the region for sure.
Yeah, that's my next goal is to like educate people about jiu-jitsu. Like we have Mikey Zindler. He won the Gracie Worlds this year. He's a 20-year-old kid at purple belt, and he won the black belt Nogi Worlds like all by submission.
Wow.
In our industry, that's like the most amazing thing you can do.
Yeah.
And everyone, we go around the country. We're just in Jersey competing at the ADCCs the beginning of the month. And everybody that when they're done, they like rush to Mikey for his approval. This 20-year-old kid from Billings, Montana.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so
he actually beat a Brazilian black belt at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow.
Our 20-year-old purple
Wow.
belt. In the finals of the Gracie Worlds. Yeah. And like that's what's funny is a lot of people have seen his face too, or his long blonde hair.
Yeah.
Because he fought in the combat jiu-jitsu worlds.
Okay. Yeah, he's in the first ever 8 people in the world were picked for combat jiu-jitsu. That's kind of a in between jiu-jitsu and MMA where you can do palm strikes and and stuff like that. And he actually fought Wagner Roca, like a 20-fight UFC vet, the current world champion.
And just
to this day had the best match that Wagner's had. He actually, admitted to me, he's like, I've never left with like shaky legs and shaky arms, but your boy really got to me the way he attacked me.
That's incredible.
So, and if you looked at the kid, you'd never think anything of him. He just looks like he works at Discontent or something. And they're big sponsors of him, but same thing, another hardworking guy. He's 8-0 in MMA too. But.
So as a coach and a trainer, that's like the ultimate compliment you can get, right? Just that.
Yeah, just watching my, a lot of times the focus was on me. I was the MMA champion, so people rallied around me because they wanted to learn from me because I obviously knew what I was doing, but I take way more pride in the coaching. I actually gave up my pro career when we opened the Grindhouse. Like I fought a couple more times, but I always knew I couldn't be selfish and go home and rest in between.
Right.
So, my whole goal has been to like retain talent in Montana and build a world-class, facility here and put us on the map. I really feel like a lot of the talent leaves as soon as they get to that next level. They go down to a bigger team. Like tons of people go to the lab down in Arizona. It's a really major, Benson Henderson, all the big names train down there. And I really wish they'd just come to Billings and train with us. You know, like I think someday. I mean, actually, like our website, we have like 85% of our hits are, you know, in major demographics around the country, and 15% in Montana.
Right.
We're close.
Yeah.
We're about to be nationally known, you know, when it comes to the Grindhouse.
I can't wait to see that
You know,
happen.
you
It's
know
gonna
what's
be
kind of
incredible.
important that I think just documenting your guys' success, which is pretty much aligned with Fusion Fight League, I feel like as well, right? Almost the Grindhouse and Fusion Fight League from afar, they're all almost synonymous.
Yeah.
Even though they are not, right?
Yeah, well, and
Two
honestly,
separate
like, so
companies,
the
but-
history of it, American Fusion Martial Arts used to be up in the Heights. That's Terrell Bracken's school.
Yeah.
That's where I started training.
Oh.
Gotcha.
And then I became the team captain and eventually just ran the fight team for him.
Interesting.
And he started the promotion while I was there, and I was, you know, I did a lot of the setup and tear down, and I reffed all the first, you know, 20-some fusions, I think. And then we had this thing where we're like, man, this is becoming a conflict of interest. You're you know, you own the gym where you train the fighters, and you're profiting on the show. We need to separate that. So he actually sold me his equipment.
Cool.
I opened the Grindhouse. He
That's
took over
awesome.
Fusion. You know,
Interesting.
because we both have
Yeah.
different interests, and
Yeah.
now that we're both doing what we actually love, we're going to elevate each other. You know, he's given us the platform to show our skills.
Would you guys say this is the biggest match to date? Season's beatings coming up.
The one
The
in
Metra's
Billings.
pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest match today in Billings.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. The
We've
zoo
had
event
Mm-hmm.
was nuts.
We've
Oh,
had
I know.
some.
It was
We've had
nuts.
some big ones in Great Falls too. You know, Fusion. You know, became ICF at the same time when Terrell bought ICF.
Gotcha.
So now there's a lot of good shows in Great Falls too. But yeah, I'd say this one's going to be the best one to date in Great Falls, and this is my second season's beating. So
I feel like a lot of the steam behind this event coming up on Saturday is the Havoc, man.
Oh, yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
your
Dude, I am.
your branding, and that's where Kyle and I kind of wanted to tie this down to like our subject matter, which is self-branding, business branding, and you really, I mean, you are pretty much a self-made, like entrepreneurial, single-man business, right?
I've been pretty good
Sponsorship
at like,
sustained.
Yeah, it like I don't know if you guys know anything about my past, but like I've been good on the whole business thing for a long time, whether it be legal or illegal
Yeah.
or whatever. You know? So
business is what
yeah,
we'll call
yeah.
it, yeah.
And you know, I kind of just winged it. It's just me. I guess I'm just good at selling myself.
Do a good job.
You know what I mean? I was really good at like even when I was like serving tables. You know, like back, I just had that. You know, I could make somebody, you know, believe in me or enjoy, which I think is huge, and that's why I was talking to you guys about, you know, motivational speaking and stuff like that. That's another I feel like passion that I'm gonna eventually have after I'm done fighting. But yeah, I'd say the uproar a lot this weekend is for me.
Man.
You know, and I think that's just mostly because I've put a name out there for myself, but also I try to put on a show and just win. You know what I mean?
Man.
Just dominate.
The
and
work
win.
too, honestly. You
The work, I
you
think a lot of
document the work, so
Yep.
people are seeing it out there. I mean, he is working hard, and I mean, you're branded well. I don't know. I'm very excited for it.
I also
Very
think
excited.
those that their business is their personal brand, like yourself. I think the ones that are really good at it did not set out with that intention.
Right,
If that makes sense.
Yeah, they have
like
their
I
own,
think
their own originality. To
I think
it,
those
you know?
that really try to do it and they're like trying to blow up on Instagram and become an influencer, like you know that type of situation and create money, you know, by making who they are such a big deal. Those are the ones I think that ultimately fail. I think the ones that really take off and are able to be a success at it
Yeah.
are the ones that it's just within them.
Yeah, see, that's crazy because you say that because like I didn't like when I first started doing it, I had no idea that that's what I was
Right.
doing. But then when I did find out that I could, you know what I mean, like that was the best way to go about this all. I realized it and I was like, dude, I need to step up my game. You know what I mean? So then that's when I started kind of doing it, and it takes a lot of work, man. It
Oh,
takes so much work.
man.
Like I have so many local sponsors and supporters and everything that it's hard to share all their stuff and like keep up with I gotta say something for him, and then you say something for one person and you're like, man, I gotta say something for the other people too. And I think I do a pretty good job of that though. I think I do a pretty good job of getting people like noticed and stuff like that. My banner has like a lot of sponsors on it, but they're not all my sponsors. A lot of them are for the gym, and a lot of them are for, the graphics guy. He puts his logos on there too. So,
so how did you go about getting sponsors for your personal brand?
Okay, so Will Grundhauser is not only an amazing, coach, and like the way he teaches is insane and completely different than anybody else I've ever learn from, because he'll take out what's like what you're best at, and he'll feed on that. But not only that, I guess I'm getting off subject there, but Will was also a pro fighter, and he knew about the sponsors. So he was my mentor. You know what I mean? He was my mentor. He set me up and told me how to do it, and the mindset about it too. Like for the longest time, I like was like really scarce about it because I was like, oh, it's like a donation, or oh, it's like a charity case. And Will's like, dude, this is not a charity case. You are worth something, and you're going to get out there, and you're going to give them service as well. They're not doing something for you. You're doing something for them because you're marketing for them.
So how long ago did that conversation happen?
Interesting.
I mean, probably right away, like 3 years ago, probably when we started working with Shane. And I give the same advice to all my fighters, to market themselves, believe in themselves. I've had unbelievable support in my own career, and I still go travel, and like Slumberland still, laying out there, like pays for my trips. This last one, he actually went with me.
Wow.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
you have to believe in it, and you do need help. There's a lot of time and hours you got to put in the gym. There's a lot of time that you have to just go rest, and like, Shane's got a family too, and a lot of people don't realize like he is a full-time professional. So he has to have the support of, other people. The actual pay we get paid for fighting, and Fusion's doing really good, giving us fair market value for what we would get anywhere. But the reality, you're making like less than minimum wage over the course of a 3-month training camp. Even if you win out and you get your show money and your pay money. So yeah, you just,
How does that work? Show money and pay money? What's the difference there?
So that's how the pay structure's set up. You get a certain amount just to show up and walk in the cage. So you get something even if you lose, but it's usually loaded on the back end. So like $500 to show up and $1,500 if you win. So it's a $2,000 payday. But if you think about that over a
3 months,
12-week camp,
you're
not even making $1,000
I was gonna say,
like my pro debut, I think my fight back then, you didn't get a lot. It was like 500 to show and 500 to win. I won my fight, but I collected probably $10,000 in sponsor money throughout my camp, and that allowed me to make a lifestyle out of it.
So until that happened 3 years ago, you were obviously a fighter, but like you're no.
So this is a crazy thing about me that people don't realize is. Life was most of my training. I wrestled in high school, but like when I started smoking pot and being dumb and partying and stuff, that kind of went out the window when it came to like wrestling and jiu-jitsu and stuff. I did those things, but partying and stuff like that took over. I started doing drywall. So yeah, I've actually only been training MMA for 3 years.
Wow.
So yeah, when we had that conversation, I was probably like a 4-month amateur.
I see.
Who was just gung ho. Like that's the thing is like when I came in, like and this is how it happened. I think I told Will this story. So I got out of being locked up, okay, because I was in and I had been lifting like the whole time I was locked up, and then like in pre-release, and I was lifting a lot, So I got like pretty big. I was doing like this bodybuilding kind of thing, and I went to the Metra, and I watched like Mikey fight. I think Mikey Zindler fought for a title, and Brandon Anderson fought Leo, and Leo knocked him out with a body shot, I think, or something. Anyways, and I was like, and I like remembered, I was like, dude, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to fight. So I was actually sitting next to Asia Morris, and a couple other people, and they're like, dude, go talk to Will. So like I literally the next day went down to Grindhouse and talked to Will, and got a schedule, and like when I like, so I guess what the point I'm trying to make is that when I walked into the gym, I had already probably had a more intense and like planned out motivation than anybody else he had in the gym, and I hadn't even rolled yet. So you know what I mean? That's the other thing that I feel like is strong when it comes to me is my mindset, because I've withdrawn off of heroin. I've been locked up. I've done a lot worse of these things, you know, and I've worked out of those things. So I know that if I set my mind, that like that's so. I mean, I feel like I've only been training MMA for 3 years, but I've probably gotten 6 years of work out of what most people would, you know what I mean? It would take them 6 years to do what I did in 3 years, guaranteed. Because I walked in that building. I walked in that building like, I'm doing something with this. I'm not going to just walk in for I didn't walk in for like a hobby. I walked in like, hey, I'm taking this place
What
over.
do you
know
what do
I
you
mean?
think hitting rock bottom? What did that do to your mindset? Like when it came time to turn it around?
So,
like what did that do for you? Is it you're no longer scared of failure kind of thing?
Yep.
Because you've already been there.
Definitely, dude. Okay, but not just failure, but like I've suffered, man. I feel like, I mean, and I'm not bitching about it. Trust me. I think I would never change any of it. I think that's what makes me strong. You know, you know, I was raised in a very you know poor lifestyle. Me and my mom never really had like a house or a place to live. My mom's still I would say actively in her addiction, and maybe I'm not sure. Anyways. And then I had that same life. Like you push so hard to not be like your parents, and then you end up being like your parents. You know what I mean? And I did that same thing. So I've withdrawn off heroin for 30 days.
That's crazy. People don't know that story.
Yeah. Because I wasn't just taking heroin. I was taking Suboxone, heroin, methadone, and those are all like intense, like lengthy withdrawals, and they can actually kill you. And I did that like in jail. So I think it made me strong, you know, not like that, but I've been jumped. I've been rushed in a jail cell, and you're telling me all I have to do is go in there with one guy for 15 to 25 minutes? Shit.
Man, that's so interesting. So getting rushed in the jail cell actually, like, it made you 10 times tougher after you've been through that.
I've been jumped. I've been kicked in the face with steel-toe boots. I mean,
She's just not worried about getting hit.
I've been hit in the head with a beer bottle. I mean, don't get me wrong. I deserved it every single time.
Well, there you go.
I did. Like it was funny. Like when I got rushed into my jail cell, like you're saying,
crazy,
right? The guard runs in. And he goes, "Hey, man, what happened? Do you know what that was all about? What'd you do? Blah blah blah." Because I literally was walking into the jail with my tote, like I had just gotten there, and somebody saw me and was like, "I'm getting him." You know what I mean? So like the guy rushed me, you know, jumped me from behind, and before I could even get it, like up after he's kicking me and stomping me, the guard runs in there, splits us up, closes my door so that after they get the other guy out, and was like, "Hey, like, do you know what that was about?" I was like, "Dude, I didn't even see who it was. Like, I have no idea who that even was." And he goes, "Well, do you have any idea what it could have been about, or blah, blah, blah?" And I'm like, "No, but I can tell you I probably had it coming." That's all I said.
That's all I know.
All I know is, man, is I probably did something to deserve that shit. So, and I found out that, yes, I did. So,
Wow.
That's fantastic. Well, it's an incredible story.
Yeah.
And I think it's incredible to be able to hear and for people to realize that, man, I mean, in the last 3 years, your life has radically changed.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I mean, it seems like such a short time to go from like just starting to training to being where you're at right now with personal brand, with the sport, with all of that. So congrats on that. That's a
Shane,
that's a
how
huge
many?
thing.
So how many fights do we get to until like you take like the big bag?
Oh, dude, I'm going this fight and the next one that we have like this pretty big announcement
major,
that I can't say anything about it. And then,
Well, when you
we're
do-
going
I
to
feel like you
Japan.
got the ability.
When
We're
you
going
do
to
announce
sure.
it, announce it here.
It'll actually,
announce
it'll probably be announced after his fight this weekend at the
cool.
Metra.
Okay.
So you already have like the next plays kind of
Yep.
planned
Yeah,
out.
and then after that one, Japan, man, I want to fight for ONE FC. They just got like a deal with TNT.
Cool.
They're gonna be on like America, and I know it's because they got like some big American names over on ONE FC now. So I feel like that's really gonna blow up. And not only that, but that's where I've wanted to fight first.
In Japan?
Yeah, I want to fight in Japan. And I want to do like a couple other, really, bigger cards, and then I want to go to the UFC because after you sign with the UFC, it's kind of that's it. You're the UFC.
You're with them.
You own. They own you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I think a dream of mine though is to like fight in Japan, man. Like if you watch what a fighter is over there, there's a lot more respect to it, and there's a lot more like you have the red carpet here, or like the E channel on TV, right?
Right.
That's MMA and fighting, combat sports in Japan. Like that's what it's all about.
It's a culture there.
It's
Interesting.
10 times the size of the arena. You
Wow.
fight in front of 150,000 people over
wow.
there. When you go to the ground, do jiu-jitsu, they know what's happening. They
And they
cheer
like
instead of
it.
boo. But yeah, it's just there's the CEO of ONE FC just put out a really good article I was reading through. And they do tons of humanitarian things. Like they're a really good organization. UFC's they got bought by a talent agency a few years ago, so they're taking the WWF or WWE fake wrestling
Theatrical.
approach, creating villains like Conor McGregor that really aren't the fighter they say they are, but they made him the richest guy in our sport.
Very interesting.
And so ONE FC, it's like super respectful. It's kind of, like Pride came from over there, and the UFC eventually bought them out. Pride is what made me want to fight. Like that was the true, like people from all over the planet, regardless of, political or, what gym you come from. If you were tough, you got in there. If you won, man, like you were a superstar over there, so we really want to go towards that more respectful. These guys are artists and they forget about that. They think they're violent people that just go in there and whoever's stronger wins, but these are martial arts, and I always say like the cage and the opponent, that's your canvas, and come watch what I can do with it. And it really is, I mean, it's an art. It's an art form.
So what separates, because you see a lot of these guys going like, not really a lot, actually, at all. But you see guys with good records out there. So I think they're mostly amateurs, though.
Yeah.
Am I right? But what separates? Is it business, or is it fighting, or is it personal branding, or is it a combination of the three that gets Shane the Havoc from the Metra up to those big leagues?
all three.
All three
Definitely.
kind of combined.
Yeah, man. I mean, okay, so
The
you
business
have
deals
to-
are big to close the fight deals, right?
Not even just that. So you have to think about it like this. You want to cover all bases. You know what I mean? Like, it happens in so many different ways. Like you have like all these reality shows. You have contests and tournaments now or they have tryouts.
So those are big come ups too.
There's also though, like you just said, big social media and videos. Like I think Sean O'Malley got big because he had a fight with LFA, which is already on your way. You fight with LFA, you're already kind of on your way. But I think he had a video that he knocked somebody out with like a spinning back, like a heel kick, spinning heel kick, and it just went like viral, like bam, just took off, right?
Went from there, the Contender Series, Snoop Dogg was there.
So
in
it's
the theater.
it's almost social
Smoked
credit.
a dude with him, and he's super
right?
famous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you build that social hype, kind of the Conor McGregor thing.
Yeah.
If the
It's a real I think the Conor McGregor thing that's
spectacle,
real disrespectful.
disrespectful.
I think that's going a little far. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think
That's not what the true.
I
True
understand.
mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
That's not what we're
I
about.
do understand where they're coming from though, because it does make him seem like the baddest dude in the world,
Yeah,
right?
it
does.
Because of
They
the
did a good job.
storyline, and then
Mikey could take him.
it's.
Oh yeah, Mikey choke him out, no problem.
You hear that? That's a call out,
There you
Conor
go.
McGregor. We're bring it on.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Dude, Mikey would sign that contract in a second.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
that's
already on
great.
it.
Are you serious? You
Yeah.
think-
So
Wow.
Mikey's dude. The one thing about Mikey, like we say, he's 20-year-old purple belt, but dude, he's like some people like you like people put people up on a pedestal, or like people like see like a third degree black belt, and they're like, dude, that dude's bad. You don't want to mess with him. Mikey doesn't level like that. He doesn't see people different. I'm serious. He would walk up to like the biggest, baddest dude, and he's like, I can take you. You know what I mean? Like that is, and what's really crazy about it is it isn't like something that he's built. It's like the way his mindset is. Like he just doesn't. he doesn't comprehend that, you know. He doesn't comprehend, building somebody into this like big thing, you know.
So fearlessness
Dude.
is very,
I've
very
been
important.
dragging him around the country since he's been with me since he was 12. Pretty much every day is like, my uke, so I demonstrate all the moves on him. And same thing, like my mentality when I was going out, like, yeah, I knew they were famous guys I was fighting, but end of the day, like, they're just a person, and if I'm better that day, I walk away with the win. And I think he was 15, maybe 16 years old the first time we put him in a men's no-gi advanced, which is where he first gets to fight black belts. He actually lost to another one of our students in the teen division finals down in Denver earlier that day, and then he came through and submitted like 4 or 5 black belts in a row to win the men's like absolute. So absolute's no weight class. So these guys, some of them at that time, Mikey was soaking wet, 135 pounds, tapping out 220-pound black belts from Oakland. Like they were nothing. And it's just, he's
incredible.
It's an art, like I said, and like physicality is nice. Technique conquers all, and he's just the best technician we've put out.
Yeah.
And the scary thing is the generation behind him, like the Michael that beat him in that tournament. He's 17, and he's just got bigger than all of us, like, in the last year. He's going to be better at and we've got, like, Owen Townsley. His
Just
parents.
little kids,
yeah, I mean,
dude, that are just going to be
so each
monsters.
generation, it gets better and better, and it's just, I mean...
That's incredible.
We haven't even seen our potential.
And
like,
me and Will just had, and Tucker, we've all just had children too. So
Right.
We were across the hall from each other. Vander
No
and his
way.
daughter were. We literally, we both
same
step
day.
out and we're waving at each other like
kidding.
literally like that.
No way. That's awesome.
Isn't that
I didn't know that.
crazy?
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo.
That's
babies,
right.
man.
That's awesome.
Shane, have you heard about the new Facebook monetization thing? This is important for guys like Havoc because you're building a brand. Now you can actually monetize on Facebook now.
What is it now?
It's brand new.
Well, you can.
He studied it last
Yeah,
night.
you can become a supporter now. And so for a $4.99 monthly subscription fee to your page, essentially, you produce content exclusively for your subscribers.
So
And,
like some
it just rolled
exclusive
out.
training
Yeah, it just rolled out
content
this
that
week.
you'd let them in on, some like live conversations that you could have like one on 10 of your
Oh,
biggest
so you're
supporters
saying
kinda
somebody
thing.
else pays me $4.99?
Yeah,
They-
All your
pay
all
me
they do is-
$5 a month.
So you just have a
subscription.
monetized Facebook page, and they just go in there and click, I want to be a $5 a month supporter. And if you get enough supporters, I mean, it's a great way to make money in stuff like this. Whether it's me and Kyle's podcast or whether it's your fighting career, it's cool
Yeah,
because
that
if
is cool.
people want to support, $5 a month isn't much,
But it adds up.
They also
absolutely.
get a
Absolutely.
supporter badge. So anytime they comment on anything you post or anything related to you, it will show up. I'm a supporter of like actual monetary
You
supporter.
guys are gonna have to show me how to
Shane.
do
Dude,
this,
my
man.
thought is if you have like something crazy that happens in the ring, like in the next even 6 months, maybe not even on Saturday, but if that thing goes viral at all, and as long as you're linked, like your page is linked in that, I mean, and your next fight is like heavily hyped, like you could get a ton of supporters like right away.
Just repost your Billy
kinda thing.
video. He had one go viral on
Yes.
a bunch of sites.
Did you
That's
see that
Billy
video?
I
Hubbard.
I did. I saw that
Oh,
one.
you did?
Yeah,
I
I did.
might have
Punch the
seen
shit
it,
out
but
of each other.
They both knock each
See,
other out and
dude,
like wake each other up.
Yeah.
in the
You
next
need to-
strike.
if you
Yeah,
had a
I saw
link,
that.
if you had a link to like
Right.
a monetized page, you'd probably pick up some subscribers from
Oh, I
Absolutely.
bet.
I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
subscribers.
I think so
Yeah.
for sure. In fact, real quickly before we wrap things up, it kind of leads me to a point that you and I were talking. Well, us three were talking about before the show, and you were talking about how you're going to lose 4 more pounds just by the fight tonight, and
Oh yeah,
all of
well,
that and so forth.
so
Well,
weigh-ins, but yeah.
yeah, right, with weigh-ins. And we were kind of talking, and you were saying how these things are just no big deal because it's what you do for, like, your product for your business is your body.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know how to present it,
Yep.
and you know how to make it work just like that, as if it's a product. That's okay.
All
Our
right,
phones go off all the time.
Yeah.
in
All
here.
right, all right.
Easy
and-
going around
yeah,
here.
right.
and it's your product, just as if it's
Yeah.
it's Tucker's sandwich, that's made
Yep.
perfectly. So that is just a fascinating concept to me, and like being able to present your product
That
as
really
yourself.
is.
Yeah,
I mean, when you
so,
think about it,
uh,
that's
So what's crazy is that like when I guess what I was trying to say too is that when you're dialed in, when you know how your body works because you're constantly, pushing it to the limits or eating, watching what you're eating, actually logging. I actually log what I eat every day, which our conditioning coach, Corey Sittner, kind of, he watches my nutrition and does my conditioning. So I guess that's what I was trying to say is like I know what to cut out and what not to cut out, and I also know what I can get away with. Okay, so you want the food because food takes longer to digest. Yeah, they say you can't live with because the weight that I'm cutting is water weight. So they say that you're gonna probably die first from dehydration than you are from starving, right?
Yeah.
But water filters and cycles through your body so much faster than food. It takes food 24 hours to cycle through your body. So I like to keep eating through my weight cut and just cut the water out. And that way, like today when I eat, like I ate 2 hard-boiled eggs this morning, that protein is going to be fuel for me tomorrow. But yeah, so I will literally just go sweat. Like I'll go put on a sauna suit, ride on a bike, sit in a sauna, ride on a bike.
Over at the BAC?
Yep. So I'll
shout out to the BAC.
Yeah. Shout out to the BAC for sure. It'll alternate. I'll go from the bike to the sauna, bike to the sauna, bike to the sauna.
How long does that last today before tomorrow that you do that? Or you already did that?
No. I'm gonna probably be going here in a couple hours, and I'll go
How long
do
do you
that.
do that for?
45 minutes. And I'll cut 4 pounds.
So then you get out of there, you go home,
and
do you
just
eat
sit
dinner?
there. No. So I have weigh-ins tonight. Right?
Gotcha.
I can actually
So
weigh in
good
at. I can weigh in early at 4. So at 4 I'll go down and weigh in, and then I'll be able to eat, and then I'll be able to drink tons of ice water
That night.
Pedialyte.
What's your favorite meal? What's your meal tonight before the fight?
So I won't be fighting tonight. I fight tomorrow night.
Or sorry, before the fight tomorrow night. What are you gonna eat?
So
tonight?
I'll eat. Oh, tonight.
Tonight
Tonight
After
I'll
you weigh
eat.
in.
Tonight I'll eat like a lot of rice and chicken, and then also I like to eat a big bowl of oatmeal with peanut butter in it before I go to bed.
Interesting. Will you eat breakfast tomorrow morning?
Oh yeah, I'll eat a really big breakfast tomorrow morning,
Okay.
and then I actually just snack for most of the day.
Gotcha. When do you stop eating before you leave to get ready for the fight? How many hours? You'll snack throughout?
Yeah. So I'll actually sit in the back in the locker room and eat granola, peanuts, and bananas.
Interesting.
He has a lot of food back there. He eats right up into his fight. Most people, they like battle crap for like 4 hours and empty everything out. He's back there like just hammering down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you need that fuel.
Yeah, I believe it.
So your diet is pretty much a low-fat, higher carb diet, right?
Yeah. So like that's what's crazy is I used to try the keto and all that. My blood sugars are extremely low for like I'm just burning them. Like I didn't know that either until just recently I got my blood panels done. But like I used to do like the keto and I tried like that. It's all just crap.
Yeah,
really.
So
Exactly.
now I just eat low saturated fat and low fat, and I have like 350 carbs a day.
Yep.
And like 250 protein. And I eat whole, good food. You know what I mean? So it's not processed crap.
Right. Yeah. It's
That's
really
about
not.
it.
It's really not rocket science.
Deer, elk, steak,
Yeah.
and all the good seafood guy.
So that's another thing is, so a week of the fight, I'll eat nothing but usually like fish and venison. So you got Billings seafood guy. He just started hooking me up.
Where do you get the venison from?
Right there.
Oh, really?
Right there.
I supply
kills.
any of my fighters with elk and antelope and deer.
Nice.
It's
Cool.
Superfood,
right
best
in our
of the best.
backyard.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I make sure these guys have good.
As local
fuel
as it
they're
gets,
putting
man.
through it.
Yeah. And he's good at killing them. So
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Well, I appreciate you guys. Tucker and I both appreciate you guys taking the time to come in.
Oh, yeah, man.
I know it's
Anytime.
big prep time right now, and you've been making your media rounds too and stuff. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you coming in to take time to kind of chat about your story and Whoops, and there goes my mic. Wow. Well, I'll just hold it. And yeah, you know, being able to get to know you guys on that level. And yeah, our YouTube audience is going to love that.
Yeah.
Mic just fell off in my hand. But anyways, we wish you the best of luck, man. We
Thanks, man.
really do. We're excited for following you guys, following you and seeing what happens. And we're definitely in your corner tomorrow.
Right on, guys.
I can assure you with that.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
And anyone that comes down to the fights, like, I don't know if you guys know, but our gym burnt down 2 weeks ago, so we have no gym, no equipment, no anything.
That is nuts. That's a whole nother story that I was like thinking about getting into, but it's, I mean, we could talk about
that
for a straight hour.
But I will say Fusion, they raise a lot of money through charitable donations at every one of their shows, usually for, someone dealing with cancer, some type of thing like that. This particular show is a fundraiser to get the Grindhouse back on their feet, get us new equipment, and rebuild our facility. So anyone that buys a ticket, they're going to be doing other charitable things while they're there. Montana Suit and Tie is selling $100 raffle tickets to a $1,500 suit. There's lots of good things going on. So if you want to have a good show and come see what Shane can do and the other 9 Grindhouse fighters on the card, it's a great show. It's family friendly. And this is going to be, I've been part of the industry for a long time, and the setup on this show is going to be electric. It's going to be the best show that Guarantee Montana and probably most of the United States have ever seen as far as production value.
How many tables are floor side?
They sold out 60, and they opened up 10 more last night, so it'll be 70.
Nice.
And I know they've already sold out more than half of the general admission.
Nice.
So, I mean, if you're not the first 500 people there, you probably aren't going to get in the door, So I recommend going to the Metro box office.
Clear up to the top?
So they're cutting off half of the.
Oh, that's
you see that?
so smart. I did actually. I forgot though.
Yeah. So it's going to be like looking down on it too.
They've got a 55-inch screen behind the cage and two 22-foot screens. So that's what you're going to be staring at from this. Everyone has that same view. The cage is like right below you, so no matter where you're at, you're looking right into it. And then they have a big thing like 4 75-inch plasmas directly over the cage. They have instant replay. This is all on live pay-per-view on fight.tv.
It's going to be a big deal.
Just want to explode.
Are you the last fight of the night then?
No, I'm actually co-main event.
He actually gave up that to a teammate that's fighting for a pro title on this card, Jake Hauk.
Okay.
He's got a lot more fights, and so does the guy who's fighting. But he was billed to be the main event, and he actually said, "Hey, man, I'm going to step down. I'll take co-main, put Jake up there. He deserves it."
It's kind of nice, though, because last time waiting for you to fight was a little anxious.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
dude, but you're going to want to stay for Jake's fight, too.
Oh, yeah. I will for sure.
And then, the other thing is that Jake deserves it, man. He's been working hard. And then
the fights are all entertaining at the zoo, man. So I'm excited about them.
Yeah, this is even harder book fights across the board. We're going to be extremely challenged, and we've got Corey Willis making his comeback, throwing her 9 rounds.
I can't believe Corey's getting into the
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Corey's
8-0 back in the day when the heavyweight bracket was just stacked like 10 years ago.
Who's he fighting?
He's actually fighting one of my students, not from the gym, but he's belted under me in jiu-jitsu, and the guy's got probably 100+ fights, probably the most experienced guy in the state, Bam Roundstone.
Corey's fighting him?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, every fight's like that, just amazing. Like I can usually predict a whole card, and we're booked so strong. We go 0-10 or 10-0 or 5-5, and honestly, like it's nothing to hang our head about any way it goes, because we fight the best available opponents.
That's cool, man. I'm pretty excited.
Well, to all of our viewers and listeners, get out there and support them if you're in the Billings, Montana area.
Hit me up.
Head out to the Metro.
Follow me on Shane Havoc 101 on my Instagram and Shane Fichter on Facebook.
Go to American Bagel and buy Shane's shirt so you can rock it at the show.
Oh, okay. Good deal.
I got
American
shirts.
Bagel distributing the shirts. Very cool. Awesome. Well, guys, hey, it was a pleasure, and hoorah to you for for tomorrow. So, to everybody, this was the first episode of the Tucker and Kyle Sideshow, and we were on here with Shane Havoc and Will, his coach and trainer. So please be sure to check out this episode on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button if you would. Also, you can check the audio podcast version out on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Buzzsprout, Spotify, everywhere that you like to hear your podcast from. So we'll see you back here next week on the Tucker and Kyle Show.